UR8 guys, this is GameboyLuke here, and welcome to another top 5. I haven't done a top 5 in a really long time now, and I thought it was about time I did another one. So here we are with the top 5, and today we're going to be doing my top 5 legendary Pokemon. Now, I want you to know, this top 5 was probably one of the hardest top 5s that I've had to do out of all the top 5s I've ever done, purely because there's a select few legendary Pokemon that really go to town when it comes to being my favorites or having something about them that resonates inside of me, whether it's because of nostalgia, because I've watched the film, because I've used them in a Nuzlocke or something like that. And it was so hard because there are a lot of legendary Pokemon that I really like, but it was just, some of them were hard to find reasoning behind why I liked them, so I kind of compiled the ones together that I could find reasons behind why I liked them and put them in this list. I hope you guys understand, obviously, that this list is 100% based on my opinion only. If you disagree with my list or you have your own list, just leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. In the number 5 spot, we have Yveltal. Now, Yveltal is a 6th gen legendary Pokemon, and I feel like some of you might not expect him to be on this top 5. And honestly, neither did I. I just compiled the list of all the legendary Pokemon that I liked, and as I said, I tried to build reasoning behind each one and why I liked them, and then the ones that didn't make the cut didn't get on the top 5. But Yveltal is here because he was one of the first things you saw when the X and Y game was announced. I remember, I actually went back to the reveal trailer, and you basically see Yveltal just soaring through the skies. And when I rewatched that, it was like this hype just built up inside me, because obviously when Pokemon X and Y was announced, it was the most hyped thing ever. So a 3D Pokemon game for the 3DS. It was amazing, and just like the whole Yveltal and Xerneas cutscene reignited the hype inside of me, and I was just like, yo, this is amazing. And literally, Yveltal is just a crazy Pokemon in general too. He literally sucks the life out of people. Oblivion Wing is an example of this. Use a Oblivion Wing on a Pokemon and it sucks the health out of them like Giga Drain does. It's got a base stat total of like 680. It's both its attack and special attack are balanced, so you can run either or. The cutscene is probably the thing that sells him most to me, especially the cutscene from Pokemon X and Y, where he's in the cocoon and he finally releases himself. That was a crazy moment, as well as the cutscene obviously in the reveal trailer. It's just, he's so mysterious. There's not much that we know about him. He's fairly new. And I don't know. I just like his design also, of course, the black and the red. Like, I don't know. I don't know, he's just so cool, and he just deserves his place on this top 5. In the number 4 spot, we have Mew. Now, Mew was that one Pokemon I just couldn't get my hands on. Way back when we were playing Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, before the Mew glitch was even a thing, Mew was the most impossible Pokemon to get, and in fact, a lot of retailers and on the box and a lot of Pokemon guides actually said there were only 150 Pokemon in the game, when in actuality, there are 151, because Mew was just completely forgotten about. Mewtwo came 150, Mew was 151, and no one knew about him. Like, he was completely invisible to everybody until the first Pokemon movie came out, and people wanted to know, where the heck do I get Mew? If there's Mewtwo, where's Mew 1? You know what I mean? So it was impossible to get. No one knew about the Mew glitch and stuff. It was just, he wasn't there. And then, in Pokemon Stadium for the N64, Mew is used in the game by a trainer in the Master Ball Prime Cup. He becomes available to you after you beat the first round of Pokemon Stadium, and it's a really big tease because a lot of people, including myself, wanted Mew and wanted to train Mew for ourselves and use him. There was one other thing that we managed to do at Pokemon Stadium 2, was you were able to, once you complete the Gym Leader Castles, you can reteach Pokemon moves, and kind of like a move relearner. And in Pokemon Stadium 2, we found out that Mew actually learns Transform, which is ridiculous. That blew our minds as kids. And then finally, managed to get our hands on one because a friend of mine actually traveled to London and competed in some kind of tournament and received a Mew as a gift. And it was like, yo, I finally have this Mew, I can teach it whatever moves I want, this is so cool. And then obviously, things went absolutely crazy when the Mew glitch came out. It was, everyone could finally get their hands on a Mew. And Mew is just, I don't know, he hits home for me. The first Pokemon movie definitely is a highlight to why I like him. He's very, very, very fun to use, especially in Nuzlocke, because he can learn every single TM, every single HM. You can run him however you'd like, and it just makes Mew a really, really unique Pokemon, because he can just run every single set that you can think of. He can basically do it. It's special. Mew is a very special Pokemon, and you know, he's just, I don't know. I love his design too. I guess he's so simple. The whole cat thing, and then like Mewtwo obviously partners with him, who actually was meant to be on this top 5 too, but I couldn't fit him on. I kind of wanted to put Mew and Mewtwo together just because of the first movie as well, but yeah, he's just an adorable Pokemon. He's lovable. Who doesn't like Mew? Am I right? He deserves his place in this top 5. In the number 3 spot, we have Zapdos, another Kanto region Pokemon. Now, Zapdos... What do I say about Zapdos? When I was a kid, I always used to be the Articuno guy. I loved Articuno because I had Pokemon Yellow, I always ran with Pikachu, and I wouldn't, you know, see the need for a Zapdos because I had an electric type on my team. But after watching the second movie, Zapdos became the coolest legendary bird for me, because as soon as I see the Pokemon in the anime and I see how it acts and how it attacks and how it reacts and all this kind of stuff on the anime and in the movies, it kind of resonates in me. And as we speak, I'm re-downloading the second movie because Zapdos is so cool. He just doesn't give a fuck. He just flies around, shoots thunderbolts and stuff. Absolutely crazy. And what is it? He communicates with Pikachu in the movie by sharing like electricity between the two of them, so they can communicate with electricity, which is cool. That's awesome. So Zapdos is really cool just because of the second movie as well. Using him in the first generation was also really, really fun, and putting him on Pokemon Stadium once again, you're seeing the trend here that, you know, Pokemon Stadium and the first generation games, so just hit home for me, okay? Just give me that. In the second movie, you very rarely see Zapdos with his wings tucked in, and in the second movie, when they're actually communicating using the electricity, you do see Zapdos sat down or stood, you know, on the ground with his wings tucked in, and he looks so cool. Like, when do you see Zapdos like that? I was hoping that in Pokemon X and Y, you maybe see him start off on the ground and then he would take lift, and he'll take off and he would flap, you know, continue flapping or whatever. But you very rarely see Zapdos with his wings down, and when you do, he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. His moveset is great. He's so viable in the competitive scene, with pretty good defenses and a very good offensive presence too. Controlling the lightning bolts. Just, I don't know, seeing him in the second movie is a really big thing. Like I said, I'm literally downloading it right now, and I've watched a few things on YouTube with Zapdos, and I was just like, oh, he's so cool. But yeah, he definitely deserves his place in the top 5 too. Now, in the number 2 spot, we have Suicune. Now, in my opinion, Suicune is the best legendary dog. That's my opinion. That's my honest opinion, because Suicune, for the first thing, he's blue. Okay, and blue is my favorite color, so that instantly sells him to me. He's so diverse. He can be used in several different ways in the competitive scene. He's got a very strong presence too. Seeing him in the movies, I saw him in the anime, I'm pretty sure. You see him in the Celebi movie, and you see him in the Zoroark movie. You actually see the shiny one in the Zoroark movie, which is awesome. He looks so cool. The shiny kind of reflects the colors or reverses the colors, and he goes like a more of a cyan light blue color, which is really nice. And his Pokemon, and one of his Pokedex descriptions, actually, he's described as the embodiment of the North Wind, and he purifies water, which is so epic, because I remember seeing in the Celebi movie, the lake is absolutely completely murky water. It's disgusting, and Suicune just touches it, and the whole thing lights up and it clears the water. Suicune, I remember I used to be a very big Pokemon Gold and Silver guy. Never really played Crystal, and then when I found out that the Crystal had a completely separate story, and you met Suicune face to face, like there was no hassle in having to chase him down, I was like, yo, this Pokemon, right? This guy right here, he's cool. Pokemon Stadium 2 also gave him a lot of love, because he just the model on there wasn't as static as a lot of the other models. Obviously, it was a very old game, so it wasn't, the models weren't all interactive and weren't filled with as much life as you'd think they would be. But Suicune definitely looked really, really cool. He's a lot of fun to use too. Like if I ever find him in a Nuzlocke, he's definitely welcomed on the team. He's very, very reliable. He hits hard, he takes hits, and he's just a top dog, I guess you could say. Then finally, in the number 1 spot, we have Lugia, another second generation Pokemon. This top 5 really has consisted of a lot of Pokemon that are lower generation in games, just because I have a lot of nostalgia and a nostalgic connection with a lot of these Pokemon. Lugia, once again, I'm gonna have to go back to the second movie. Lugia is... I say the word too much. I say awesome too much, but Lugia is so awesome. He fights against all 3 legendary birds in the movie. I was watching a segment in the movie where Ash is sliding on the piece of metal and he's trying to reach some of the islands, and the legendary birds are just shooting down on Ash, and Lugia is just like, nope, and he's just throwing them around, destroying them, and defending Ash whilst they move along, taking hits from all 3 birds, which is awesome. It literally, watching some segments of the film gave me some incredible chills. My inner child was screaming at me. It gave me some crazy chills. I was just sat there, I got all this pent up hype built back up into me from when I remember watching the movie in the actual cinema at the time, and Jesus, man, there's so many feels. Hopefully I've got some clips showing on the layout right now for Lugia, but yo, he's so cool. Lugia is also known as the Great Wall. He has a set called the Great Wall. He's the bulkiest, one of the bulkiest legendary Pokemon around. I mean, I don't really get the chance to use Lugia all that much because he is an Uber Pokemon, but I remember definitely using him in Pokemon Gold and Silver and Aeroblast. That's the coolest move name ever. Aeroblast. That, I don't know, it's high crit ratio, flying type move. You don't see much love when it comes to flying type moves, and Aeroblast is so nice. It's a shame that he's the only Pokemon that can learn it, because I would love other Pokemon to learn it, obviously barring Smeargle, but Aeroblast is a very, very cool name for a move too. The Whirl Islands, actually catching Lugia was pretty easy too. The only problem is Whirl Islands was an absolute something else, but you know what I'm saying. And Pokemon Stadium also gave him a little bit of love. The one thing I will disagree with, one of the negatives to Lugia is his model in Pokemon Stadium 2. But I mean, like I said, it's an older game, so it's whatever. One other thing that hits home for Lugia is Lugia's song. I think we can all agree that Lugia's song is one of the best pieces or musical pieces that ever came out of Pokemon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's from the second movie. Once again, just Google it. Just Google Lugia's song, and you'll know. So many people have remixed it, and it's a beautiful song. And Lugia is also Flying Psychic. He is titled the Guardian of the Seas, and he isn't even water type. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? But no, yeah, Lugia definitely is one of the best Pokemon in terms of his design as well for me. It's because it's so simplistic that I think it hits me. For me, simple designs are also great. There are some complex designs that I like too, but simple designs usually do better for me. Which you can probably tell from this top 5 actually. A lot of the Pokemon that are on here are very, very simple in design. Lugia's got the whole sleek white to him, the whole like eye things that he's got as well, the black things. And also, one other thing I've forgotten to mention is obviously his appearance in Pokemon XD. Shadow Lugia is super cool. I feel like I'm using the words cool and awesome. I'm for lack of better adjectives right now, but Shadow Lugia, when you play Pokemon Colosseum and you move to Pokemon XD and you see the Shadow Lugia animation right at the start of the game, that cutscene is super powerful. And once again, I think I've seen some texture hacks of Pokemon X and Y where Lugia, Shadow Lugia comes into X and Y. He looks so good, so good, looks so good. Make him come back. We need like an XD remake or something. But yeah, that's my number 1 for this this top 5. So yeah, that's my top 5 legendary Pokemon. If you guys have your own personal top 5s, leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about them. I'd love to see what you guys come up with as well. And obviously, a lot of the Pokemon on the list I understand were Gen 1, Gen 2, but it's so hard to break away from the nostalgia. Like, I listed out a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon too, but the only reason I liked them was because of their design. There wasn't really much else about them that I liked. I know a lot of the Pokemon on this, obviously on this list, were about design, but they also had additional points to them too, which made them, or granted them entry to this top 5. I haven't done a top 5 in a long time, and I understand that I might be a little bit rusty, so I do appreciate any feedback in the comment section below. And also, if you want to see more of these top 5s, click that like button for me, and also leave suggestions down below for the following top 5s that I might be able to do. Maybe I'll do a couple every single month. I'm trying to get back into consistency when doing top 5s, because I don't do them often enough, and I know that a lot of people enjoy them, and I know that they're very, very fun to make. It gives me a chance to express my opinions, and I love doing that. So once again, leave any feedback down below, leave suggestions for top 5s, and don't forget that like button for me. I do appreciate the support. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next top 5 video. See you guys then.